Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on when you're watching this, and welcome to the latest edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain, on this Thursday, October, 29th? Yes, the 29th of October. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. So here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Hundreds of friends and relatives came together in Nia Bay last weekend for the funeral of Makah tribal leader Lester Green. He suffered a heart attack the weekend before at his home in Shelton, Washington. He was 72 years old. He's the man, the elder man, pictured in the photo that we're putting up. The Peninsula Daily News reports Green was an Army veteran who worked as a carpenter and was a passionate fisherman. He is remembered as a singer, dancer, and drummer who helped the Makah and other tribes connect with their cultures. A few months ago, the family of Everett Ruess, an idealistic young artist who vanished in a wilderness journey in 1934, was ready to accept his grim fate that he had been killed by Indians. They prepared to cremate the remains that were found in wild Utah Red Rock country, which would have forever sealed the legend of Ruess with ashes in the Pacific Ocean. But nagging doubts led four nieces and nephews to another DNA lab, which reported the bones were from another unknown person. It was a stunning reversal for a legend-busting story in National Geographic Adventure last spring. For Ruess flame keepers, it was proof the man never wanted to be found. For the family, it was only more grief. Brian Ruess said the family was very close to cremating the remains of somebody who wasn't their uncle. Now the family is shipping the bones and a few artifacts to the Navajo Nation reservation where they were discovered last year because scientists say the remains are most likely those of a young Navajo man. The Hawaii Supreme Court is bringing a 15-year-long court battle over Hawaiian lands to a close. The court this week ordered the dismissal of the claims of the final plaintiff in the case, which it was reconsidering after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in March that the government's apology for the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom didn't strip the state of its right to sell or transfer former monarchy land. The Hawaii Supreme Court is tossing out the claims of University of Hawaii Hawaiian Studies professor Jonathan Osorio, who sought a permanent ban on the sale of Hawaiian lands. Three other plaintiffs in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs previously reached a settlement with the state barring the sale of ceded lands unless both the House and Senate approve by a 2/3 vote. Linda Sue Warner had big ambitions when she arrived in 2007 as president of Haskell Indian Nation University in Lawrence, Kansas, the only four-year college operated by the federal government for American Indians. Now she wonders whether those ambitions could cost her her job. She envisioned major campus improvements and an expansion of the college programs, but she also proposed to increase the extremely small fees paid by Haskell's roughly 1,050 students, $250 per semester, including room and board, to about $1,000. Warner says the money is needed to improve academic programs, shore up the campus computer network, and replace old buildings and aging classrooms. And that was where she ran headlong into the belief among many Haskell students and alumni that the government owes them a free or nearly free or prepaid education, both because of treaties and as compensation for generations of cultural oppression. Students protested and members of the Board of Regents called for Warner's ouster. In September, amid the furor, Warner was sent to New Mexico on what the government says is now just a temporary assignment. The chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe said he does not know whether he'll ask North Dakota's Board of Higher Education for more time to consider the University of North Dakota's Fighting Sioux nickname and logo. Charles Murphy told KNOX Radio of Grand Forks that he knows some people who are trying to bring up the idea of a tribal vote on the question, but he said he's not clear if or when that will happen. The state board has set this Saturday as the deadline for Standing Rock leaders to weigh in on the debate. They could ask for a 30-day extension. Murphy said he's willing to listen if people want to bring up the nickname issue, but he said the tribal council is not scheduled to meet until next week. The Board of Higher Education has said it will drop the nickname and logo unless Sioux tribes in the state approve a 30-year agreement. Former Washington State Fish and Wildlife Director Jeffrey P. Conans has told a federal judge that preoccupation with culverts could hinder salmon restoration. Conans was a key witness for the state recently in a lawsuit brought by 19 Native American tribes. They are seeking to speed up the repair and replacement of highway culverts that block migrating salmon in most of western Washington. Conans, a state delegate to the Pacific Salmon Commission, told U.S. District Judge Ricardo Martinez that too much emphasis on fixing or replacing culverts that disrupt fish runs could boomerang. He explained that if the new habitat is opened before wild salmon runs can take advantage of it, genetically inferior hatchery salmon might continue to be the predominant species. The University of South Dakota has announced a new educational partnership with the Crazy Horse Memorial in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The partnership will include college preparatory classes and introductory freshman courses at a new $2.5 million building that will be built as weather allows. Jack Marsh of the Freedom Forum's Al Newharth Media Center says the goal is to offer classes as early as next summer. The University of South Dakota expects to start recruiting students for the program as early as January of this year, upcoming year, 2010. Governor Bill Richardson said $5.4 million has been awarded to 16 tribal infrastructure and planning projects across New Mexico. A state board reviewed 24 infrastructure project proposals, including requests for water and wastewater systems, road improvement projects, electrical power lines, livestock facilities, bathroom additions, and planning projects. Richardson says the improvements will aid New Mexico tribes and pueblos through economic development, education, and health care. The projects range from $60,000 for a Navajo road improvement project to a $927,000 award to the Zuni Pueblo for a water supply and delivery system. Also, there's about 48 hours left in that bra auction going on at www.braart.org, and look up Patty Talahangba's Hopi Mesa's scenery bra. Make a bid on it. You know, the last time I looked, I think it was going for $60, and we need to get some native people in there, you know, looking at that bra and making some bids, because it's worth a lot more than that $60. It's missing a couple zeros on that, so get down there. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to say miigwech for joining with us. Come again soon.